Imagine if you went from feeling fine every day to feeling amazing. How would your life be different? Everyone has the ability to feel amazing again and again. You just need the right tools to get there. If you're ready to feel amazing, stick around. Now, here's the host of the I'm Not Fine show with functional nutrition coach Lizzie Ens.
Welcome, everyone, to the I'm Not Fine show on the Inspired Choices Network. My name is Lizzie Ens, and I am your host. We are back again, and today we are going to have another amazing and powerful episode to help you become more powerful in your health journey and feel more powerful. But before we do that, I do want to send a reminder that where you can see and hear and listen to this show on so many different platforms. But one of the new things that we are doing is we're going to go live, and we are live currently on Facebook, the Inspired Choices Network TV, and the Inspired Choices Network YouTube channel as well. So you can watch us live there. You can also go in and download the Inspired Choices Network app as well, so you can watch and follow us along there. You can be in the chat room and you can ask me questions in the chat room. So if you're not doing that and you want to come in and ask very specific questions and have a conversation going with me while I'm live here, you can do so. So come hang out with me, come hang out with us on here, and let's have a party. You can bring coffee, you can bring tea, you can bring whatever you want and just enjoy this conversation, because we like to have a little fun in here. Next thing I want to remind you is, if you have not grabbed my book, Escaping My Reflection, on lizzieens.com, you can go to the show notes and grab it on my website. If you're in a different country, that's not the US, you can grab it on Amazon as well. You do have to type in the book category, because it doesn't just pop up. So one of the things that you want to do is go in there and search it in the book category, and then it will come up. You have the PDF version, or the one that gets shipped to you, the physical version of it, and you have the Kindle version of it. So you can go grab it there. If you order it from my website, if you're in the US, you get a copy that's signed by me, and I ship it right to you. So make sure you go grab that if that's something that you want to dive into. It's a quick read, but it's a fun read. I actually have someone that is ordering it, and she wants to take it with her on the beach so she can hang out on the beach with a little tequila and my book. I mean, I'm like, that sounds like a lot of fun. Okay. Next thing is, if you are in a place where you are feeling stuck with your health journey and you are not getting the help that you are needing or wanting from your doctor, or maybe you've been told that you're fine, but you're not fine, you don't feel fine, please reach out to me. You can grab the link in the show notes as well and book a consultation with me, because I work with people one-on-one, and I stand in that gap between the doctor and the patient. And when I work with you, I do in-depth lab work, and I really dive into the root cause of what is going on with your health, which we're going to dive into a lot of health things today. But I like to dive really, really deep and look at, why is it that your body is feeling the way that it is? Why are you not seeing the results that you want? And we really dive into things in a functional aspect, hence functional nutrition, getting to the root cause of things. So if this is you and you are feeling stuck and you are not getting the help and you are not fine, even though you are told you're fine, please book a consultation with me. Let's have a conversation, and let's help you feel better and help you heal your body. So today's topic is how to feel powerful in your health journey, which lines right up into what I've already been sharing with you with not feeling fine. So many people come to me and they feel powerless. And I've been there. I've been in a place where I felt absolutely defeated with how my body was reacting or responding to certain things, and just not knowing what I need to do. Back in 2016, I had my first ever health scare where I thought I was incredibly healthy. I had just graduated a few months before from personal training school, and I was working as a personal training at a private training studio, and I was having the time of my life. And about 3 to 4 months into that journey of personal training and getting to know the industry and getting to know my clients and building my business, I started having incredible back pain, debilitating back pain, to the point where it was taking away functions of my body, the things that I couldn't even walk or run on a treadmill without feeling like something was going to give out in my body. And after a few months of that, I finally went to see a chiropractor, who then I ended up seeing for a few months, till he finally convinced me that I needed to get an MRI. And I thought to myself, I'm healthy. Like I'm in pain, and my body functions aren't doing very well. Like I was losing certain cognitive functions, and that was really alarming. But I thought, they're not going to find anything anyway, so I may as well not do an MRI. Well, I ended up going and doing the MRI anyway. And the next day, my doctor called me and he's like, you need to come in right away. We found a benign cyst in your spine. Like, you're going to need surgery. And I just remember feeling so incredibly defeated at that time. I felt like I was not in control at all. Like, how is it that someone like me that eats healthy and I exercise and, I'm really like working on taking care of my health, and all of a sudden I have this like massive thing going on where I need surgery, and it didn't make any sense at all. Well, I ended up, fast forward 6 to 7 months later, I ended up going through back surgery. And that in itself was really, really eye-opening as well. And I didn't understand at first, like, why I needed to go through that. Because here's the thing. Everything that happens in life is usually not by mistake. Like, everything happens for a reason, right? Sure, we make mistakes, but like everything happens for a reason. There's a lesson in everything. And it was in that time that I had to figure out what was the lesson for me. And I'll share another time, like what I found out there. But I want to fast forward a few years later. I was 9 months postpartum, had a baby, and pregnancy was terrible. I hated being pregnant. It just wasn't good for me. I didn't know at that time that there were already health issues going on internally that I was not aware of. I looked like I was incredibly healthy. I was lean. I was able to exercise really well. I had recovered from my back surgery. And then I went through pregnancy and postpartum, and 9 months postpartum, I found out that I was subclinical hypothyroidism. Well, if you looked at me, you wouldn't have thought that, because the typical person, when they have hypothyroidism at that level, they're usually gaining an exponentially amount of weight, where it's just like uncontrollable. Like, it doesn't matter what they do, they're gaining so much weight. And it's like, okay, that's like a true sign. But for me, it was the opposite. And so again, I was feeling incredibly defeated. A few months later, I did some other testing, found out I had like almost 100 different food sensitivities. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, I couldn't get it under control. And then the following year, I ended up finding out that I had Hashimoto's and autoimmune disease. And it was this like propelling thing where it was like one thing after the next. And I couldn't figure out like, why is this happening? And it felt so incredibly powerless. I remember going through a 4-month gut healing journey, which was part of the success of me of actually healing then. It wasn't everything, but it was part of it. And I remember being in the grocery store one time, and I was so limited in what I was eating because I was really working on healing internally. And for that period of time, I needed to be pretty strict in what I was doing, because it was the only way that I was going to allow my body to actually heal. So I was on a regimen of eating certain foods, having other foods cut out that I was already sensitive to. And then I had a whole supplement regimen to help my body heal, and it worked. But if you're on that for 3 to 4 months, like that's a significant amount of time. And it's one of those things that you have to decide. You have to make a decision like, I'm committing to this if you want to see it through. And that's the hard part for some people, is like, okay, 3 to 4 months, we can do anything we can do most things for 30 to 60 days. But anything beyond that, it becomes this mental thing of like, why are we doing it in the first place? And I was in the grocery store one day and I was trying to shop for foods that I was like allowed to have on my plan. And I remember feeling so incredibly defeated. I was so like beyond myself. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I just couldn't get past the emotional aspect of it. Not to mention that I was detoxing. So I have migraines and headaches. So that made it worse. But guess what I did? I ended up gathering myself together. I got the stuff that I needed, went out in the car, and I cried a little bit more. And then I believe I actually made a video about it where I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore, but like, I understand why I'm doing it. I got it off my chest, and then I put my big girl pants on and I said, all right, we're doing this. And I continued on. And that is what made me feel powerful, because I was able to go, okay, I know why I'm doing this. And this is the thing that so many people miss when they're on a healing journey, is to remember why they're doing it in the first place. And this is why I whenever I'm working with someone and I ask them what their top 3 goals are, if it's only weight loss and like, let's say weight loss is the number 1 thing, and that's the only thing that they come up with, I tell them that that's not enough. Like, if you only focus on weight loss, if things get difficult, life throws things at you, and you don't have a more concrete goal behind that of why you're doing it, like we call it the big why, like you got to have a big why and the reason why, then when things get difficult, you're going to stop. Because it's easy to quit when things get difficult. It's easy to go back to like what feels comfortable, what was known before, even though what we were doing before wasn't necessarily helping us. It didn't help us heal, but it's what was known. It's what our habits that we were doing that made us feel comfortable. Like we found comfort in the routine. That's what was known. And so it's easy to go back to that because it's the path of least resistance. There's this thing in personal training school that we learn where the body will always take the path of least resistance. So if you have certain imbalances going on in the body structurally, and let's say you're doing a squat and you have really tightness on the left side of the body, the right side of the body is going to take over and do the majority of the work because the left side is too tight and it's not able to function properly. So it's going to take the path of least resistance. Well, our brain likes to do that too. Our brain does like to take the path of least resistance, but it's up to us to be like, no, like I got to do hard stuff. I got to change how I'm doing things. And I have to do hard things if I want to grow and change and heal and get to my goal. We don't grow in our comfort zone. It just doesn't happen. So we have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. It sounds like such an oxymoron, but it's so true. Like we have to get comfortable at the idea of being uncomfortable. I literally just had someone tell me, it was my brother. My brother told me the other day, he goes, Lizzie, you have really gotten comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm like, you think? I put myself in uncomfortable situations all the time, but it's how we grow and it's how we learn. All right, we're going to go to our first break here, but when we come back, we're going to keep diving into more of the health field of things, of how to feel more powerful in your health journey. And I'm going to bring in some doctor conversation here too, because that is a place where people feel so incredibly defeated all the time. So don't go anywhere. We're going to dive into that section. And at the end of this conversation here, I'm going to give you some tactics, some tools, some things that you need to be doing in order to make yourself feel much more powerful in this healing journey. So don't go anywhere. I'm Lizzie on the Inspired Choices Network. I'm not fine.
We often get used to just feeling fine instead of reaching to feel excellent or even good. Wellness is about feeling good, and that is a journey of continually coming back to what is nourishing and healing for us. Your body is functional and ever-changing, like a pendulum swinging. We must learn how to move with our bodies. Tuning into I'm Not Fine with functional nutrition coach Lizzie Ens will provide you with simple but effective tools that you can use right away, so you can go from feeling just fine to feeling amazing. Listen for I'm Not Fine on Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is I'm Not Fine with Lizzie Ens. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Lizzie at undietyourself.live. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone, to the I'm Not Fine show. I'm Lizzie, and I'm on the Inspired Choices Network. And if you are listening to this show, and whatever platform it is that you're listening to, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go on there and leave me a 5-star review, not a 4, a 5. If this is what you're feeling like, if you feel like this is a 5-star show, I want that from you, because this is going to help boost the show, get it out to your friends. Also, share it with your friends. I just was having a conversation with someone the last 2 days. Actually, 2 different people are like, I love your podcast, and I share it with my friends. And I'm like, thank you. That's amazing. So if you feel like this is something that your friends and your family are needing to hear, and that they should listen to this, come to the Lizzie show and listen to me, yap away on all these fun health things, and sometimes some Amish things too, send them my way. But don't forget to leave that review as well. We go live here every Friday at 10 a.m. PST time. So remember, YouTube, Inspired Choices YouTube channel, and Inspired Choices TV channel, and Facebook Live. You get to watch me live now and have conversation. Anyway, we're going to get back. Before I went to break, I was talking a little bit about some moments in my life where I felt defeated in my health journey, where it just felt incredibly defeating, to be honest, like standing in the grocery store crying because you're like, what the heck is wrong with me? I don't know why my body is doing what it's doing. But I'm not there anymore. And that's why I'm here talking to you about how to take power back with your health. And listen, power isn't necessarily like being in control of other people. It's more a matter of you being in control of yourself and your health. And when you feel like you are in control of your health and you understand like how to help your body feel good, and how to, even if you like go on vacation or you have a big event or whatever the case may be, where you feel like you kind of like veer off from what you normally do, but then you can understand how to come back to pull things back and be in control and in power of your health again, because you understand and know what to do. That's feeling powerful in your health journey, because you don't have to go into vacation or an event feeling anxiety and stress about what's going to happen. Am I going to lose my entire progress of everything that I've worked on? In the last week, I've been in 2 different conversations with clients, and the one client, I'll share both stories, but the one client, she is a grandma, has grandkids, has kids, and so she's the mother hen of everybody. So when they get together for family events, she's the one that's like planning everything, making sure everybody has their food, making sure they're taken care of. And it would get so bad that she would just get anxiety about the entire thing, where she started to feel out of control. When I started working with her, we, obviously did her lab work, and then we worked heavily on the nutrition side of things, bringing in the foods that her body needed in order for her to feel nourished and healed and energetic, and her digestion was good and she was sleeping good. She was also losing weight. That wasn't her number one goal, but she was losing weight in the process of all of these things that we were doing. And a couple months in, she said, Lizzie, I had a family event. And she's like, I was kind of waiting for the shoe to drop. I was waiting for myself to go into sort of like an anxiety attack of trying to like taking care of everybody. And she's like, it just never happened. And I told her in the first place, I said, listen, I don't want you to sit around waiting for the shoe to drop. We do that so many times in our healing journey, where we're like, wait, when is this going to stop? When is my body going to, fail me? When am I going to fail myself or my body? So that was the first thing I told her, is don't sit around waiting for the shoe to drop. The second thing was I got to show her and tell her and teach her at that moment in time is that anxiety and depression and all of those things are very much related to our nutrition and the balance of where things are at in our body. So what we did is we made sure that when we did our lab work, we looked at what is it that her body needed, and then brought those things in. And because of that, she felt a lot more grounded, and her anxiety never popped up. She was just fine. She's like, I felt amazing. I felt in control, and she felt powerful because she was giving her body what it needed. And I'm going to tell you a little secret right now. One of the things that makes you feel more grounded is the protein. If you're making sure that you're getting enough protein, it makes you feel grounded because it satiates you, keeps you fuller longer. You're not going to grab for the candies as much, the cookies as much, because you're satiated and your body's getting those vitamins and minerals that it needs. Not everything is from the protein, but it is definitely a huge portion of it. And then I had another conversation this morning with a client that made me so happy. She said, I feel like I have more space in my brain now. And I thought, wow, that's a new one. I feel like I have more space in my brain now. And what she meant by that is her brain fog that she had been experiencing for so long has been lifted, and she feels a lot more stable and grounded. And she also feels a lot more productive because she feels like things aren't just scattered everywhere. So again, I got to teach her, listen, we looked at what it was that your body needed, and we worked on your nutrition, and protein was one of them. And then we brought in other things that her body was deficient in. And now her body is getting what it needs, which is now making her feel a lot less scattered, a lot more grounded, energetic. She's sleeping well, like all the things. So in the beginning of working with me, she's like, I just felt like I didn't have space in my brain for anything else. And that's what it can feel like when your body is missing specific micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, or macronutrients, which if you don't know the difference between macronutrients and micronutrients, like your macro, think big. So macronutrients are going to be your carbs, your fats, your proteins, and fiber I would put in that category as well. And then your micronutrients are going to be your vitamins, your minerals, your phytonutrients, your polyphenols. Like those are like on a micro level, but it's all things that your body needs. So all of them are so important. And that's why when I work with people, I'm teaching them how to bring everything full circle, how to bring things into balance. And when we do that, that's when things start to feel much more stable. So the other part of not feeling in control of your health is, I hear this story over and over and over, which is why we're talking about this. Most people that come to me, they've gone to the doctor and they did a little bit of lab work, whatever it is that the doctor did, usually not pretty in depth. And usually their response is everything is fine, like you're fine, everything looks good on your labs. But this patient is like, I do not feel fine. Like, why do I feel the way that I do? So that's one part of it, where you just feel really powerless because you're like, something's not adding up. Something is not making sense. I'm being told that everything's good, but like, I know that I'm not good because my body doesn't feel good. That can make you feel powerless, as if you're not in control, because it's like, no matter what you do, your body's not responding. I have so many people that come to me and they're like, listen, I exercise, I eat well, I drink water, but like, no matter what I do, my body is either not losing weight and feeling better, or it's gaining weight, even though I'm doing all these things. That can make you feel incredibly powerless as well. Because it's like, well, why try then? Why try when you're already feeling the way that you are and you're doing the things that you are and you're not seeing any results? That is a true sign of imbalances going on in the body. It's like, we haven't got to the root cause of what it actually is. So whatever labs they're drawing, they're first of all looking at pathological ranges, which is not optimal or functional. And second, they're usually not looking deep enough, far enough. So when we're looking at labs in the functional field, like, we're looking for pieces of the puzzle that are missing. Where are the connecting dots in the puzzle of, like, what are the clues that we're finding that is a connection, because it's always a downstream issue. And so that's why so many people feel like they're just not getting that help that they need, or feeling powerless, because that's what we're talking about here, feeling powerless and then feeling powerful. We're going to get to the powerful part as well. So we're going to go to our second break here. When we come back, we're going to dive into what are some things that you can do to start feeling more in control and powerful with your health journey, because that's where you want to be. You want to feel like you are in control and you understand how to take care of your health and your body, but you can't do that without the proper education. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
We often get used to just feeling fine instead of reaching to feel excellent or even good. Wellness is about feeling good, and that is a journey of continually coming back to what is nourishing and healing for us. Your body is functional and ever-changing, like a pendulum swinging. We must learn how to move with our bodies. Tuning into I'm Not Fine with functional nutrition coach Lizzie Ens will provide you with simple but effective tools that you can use right away, so you can go from feeling just fine to feeling amazing. Listen for I'm Not Fine on Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is I'm Not Fine with Lizzie Ens. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Lizzie at undietyourself.live. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. We are back, and we're going to talk about how to feel powerful in your health journey and your healing journey. What can we do? Before the break, I was talking a little bit about what it can feel like when you go to a doctor and that process of, hey, we did some labs, tried to figure out what was going on. Maybe a little bit was off, but nothing too crazy. So we can't help you. It feels really, really powerless when that happens. The other thing that has happened is I am working with someone right now that did some thyroid lab work, and the doctor said, oh, your thyroid's fine. And I looked at the results and I said, no, you're not fine. Well, I actually ended up doing, on my end, I did a much more in-depth panel and found way more things. So that's the missing part as well. Now, the other thing that can happen here is, let's say you go and you work with a functional medicine doctor or a naturopath. And typically when you work with someone like that, which is amazing, I love when people work with naturopath or functional medicine doctors because they usually do more in-depth work. But one of the things that can happen is you get the answers. They may go, okay, here's what's going on. These are your diagnoses. And now here's what you need to do. The diagnosis part of it can feel incredibly overwhelming. I remember when I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's, I just felt so defeated. I was like, what do I do now? I realized at that point in time that the missing piece for a lot of people is you getting the diagnosis. There's two things that happen. Two things that happen when you get lab results back. One is, oh my gosh, I finally have answers. Now we can finally move forward and do what we need to do to heal. The other part of diagnosis for some people is it's incredibly overwhelming. And it's like feeling like your body is failing you. And you're like, well, what do I do now? And that's where I come in. So typically when this is happening, we want to take it baby steps. And something that can happen when we get so overwhelmed with the information that we're getting and we're like, okay, this is what's going on with the body, and we don't know what to do from there. It's like we have to take it one step at a time. We can't do everything all at once. It's just too much. But for some people, they end up freezing up and like not doing anything at all because it just all feels so overwhelming. So here's what I like to do when I work with people on this is we go, okay, let's see what the top 3 things are that we need to do to start helping you feel better. So we look at the results that we're having of what the labs are telling us. We put the pieces of the puzzle together and we say, okay, here's the thing that is the most important thing for us to work on. And we pick like 1 to 3 things that you're going to start working on. And sometimes that's as simple as taking a couple extra vitamins and making sure you're sleeping well and doing some breathing exercises. It could be as simple as that, depending on what's going on. But the most important part is that you do something, because you're not going to start feeling better if you don't do anything at all. But another piece to this is it doesn't have to be complicated. We want to go back to the foundation of our health. It doesn't really matter where you are, who you are, and what is going on. The foundation of your health and your health habits and what you're putting into your body, how you're sleeping, what you're drinking, how you're moving your body, that's your foundation. Like I've talked about this before. You got to build a really strong foundation. And your foundation is those 4 things. The foods that you eat, like what your diet looks like, how you move your body, the water you're drinking, and how you're sleeping, how much sleep you're getting and how you're sleeping. That needs to be your foundation no matter where you are and who you are and what's going on with your health. So when we work on those 4 things, it's astonishing to so many people what can happen. So if someone starts working with me, like we don't always have the lab results back right away before we start. And I could be working with someone for 3 weeks and we've worked on the foundation of things. We've worked on their nutrition, their movement, sleep, and water. And by doing that, they're already seeing results. They start feeling better. They start sleeping better because we're building the foundation of what needs to be strong and a sustainable lifestyle anyway. So then when the labs come in and we look at, okay, here's some extra things that your body is needing to improve the plan and excel everything and move everything forward faster and help them truly heal. It allows us to get to the root cause of what's going on and then bring things in accordingly. That excels their process and the progress that they see. However, that foundation is really, really important. It's not always that easy for every single person, but for many, it is. So what you want to do, here's where the education piece comes in. What you want to do is you want to have proper education on what does a sustainable, balanced lifestyle. And I always say, like, we say balanced, but it's like, is anything ever really truly balanced? Like, that's debatable. But when we're talking about balance, is like I talked about macronutrients a little bit earlier, like your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. So when we learn how to fuel our body with the right foods to bring some balance in with those macronutrients and making sure that we're getting our fiber and our vitamins and minerals and those things that our body needs, we automatically start feeling better. It happens to every single person. We start feeling better when we focus on those things. So when we do that, now we feel like we are more in control. And that comes back to, I've talked about structure before. So feeling in control in your health is also having structure and knowing like, hey, this is what we're going to do for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And sometimes it's literally us having structure, actually eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's also having power and feeling empowered or in control. Because one of the things that is missing for so many people too is having that structure around when you're having your meals and knowing what you're going to be having for your meals. But it's a learning process. So you have to create and develop new habits and create that structure around it. But it's hard to create a structure if you don't have the education piece behind it. So a lot of people, when they start, let's say they start tracking in MyFitnessPal and they don't have the education piece behind of, okay, like how should I actually be tracking, or why should I be tracking? What do I need to be looking for when I'm tracking? It's very overwhelming. It's like, well, I don't even know what I'm doing. So that's why the education piece behind what are we looking for when we're tracking? What are your goals? And then how do we adjust accordingly? It's creating that structure behind it and having the education piece behind it. So when I have people come in, I do have them track, but I always tell them, like, we're not tracking because we're on a diet. We're tracking to gather data and to create structure. We want to create some structure and expectations of what is it that our body really needs. And then we get to play detective a little bit too. When there's food sensitivities and stuff like that going on, I can go in there and play detective and be like, okay, here are some things that may actually be causing you to feel the way that you are. And then we adjust accordingly. So feeling in control and feeling powerful in your health journey is also feeling like you know what to give your body. So I had this conversation with someone the other day, and she said that she had gone on a trip, and when she was on the trip, like she didn't have as much control over like where they were going to be eating and what the foods were going to be. So she knew that. She still tried to make the best choices that she could, which here's a little tip here. If you're going on a trip or you're having a family outing or going to dinner or whatever, like a tip here is always think about what's your protein. What are you going to have for your protein? And then if there's vegetables, which hopefully there are, but if there's vegetables, then you can be like, okay, protein and vegetables. Those are two things I'm going to have. And then everything else just kind of like falls in there. But when you have the understanding behind what is it that I need to be feeding my body to feel good, you can go on vacation and, do the best that you can, still have some fun, some dessert, some ice cream, maybe a couple, if you're going to the beach, maybe you're having a couple martinis on the beach. You can go and do that, come back from vacation. And if you go back to like the things that that made you feel really good before, you can go on vacation and be like, it's no big deal. I know when I come back, I can get right back to it because I know what makes me feel good and I know that I want to feel good. That's feeling in control and feeling powerful in your health. When we're going to go to our last break here in a little bit, but when we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about when you're going to an event, family event, and there's people that are pushing you and trying to push you to eat the things that you know are going to make you sick, and knowing how to navigate that and be like, I'm choosing not to. There's different ways that you can go about it, but it can also make you feel extremely powerful when you feel like you are in control of it, because at the end of the day, you are the one that lives in your body, right? Like you're the one that lives in your body. You're the one that's responsible to take care of your health and body. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says that you do or do not eat. It doesn't. It's plain and simple. So if someone's trying to shove things down your throat, what do you do about it? We're going to talk about it when we come back from break. Don't go anywhere. I'm Lizzie Ens on the I'm Not Fine show. We'll be right back.
We often get used to just feeling fine instead of reaching to feel excellent or even good. Wellness is about feeling good, and that is a journey of continually coming back to what is nourishing and healing for us. Your body is functional and ever-changing, like a pendulum swinging. We must learn how to move with our bodies. Tuning into I'm Not Fine with functional nutrition coach Lizzie Ens We'll provide you with simple but effective tools that you can use right away, so you can go from feeling just fine to feeling amazing. Listen for I'm Not Fine on Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is I'm Not Fine with Lizzie Ens. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Lizzie at undietyourself.live. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. We are on our last stretch here, and we're going to keep this party going. Real quick, before we move on into the conversation of feeling powerful in your health, just a quick reminder, if you have not grabbed a copy of my book, Escaping My Reflection, on lizzieens.com, it's my autobiography. You get to learn a lot about me in this book and my story. And I talk a little bit about nutrition in there too towards the end. So go to lizzieens.com. It's in the show notes. Make sure you grab that. If you order it from that link, if you're in the US, you get a signed copy from me because I send it out straight from my home. And then secondly, if you are in this place of feeling stuck with your health, you're not getting the help that you're needing from your doctor, and you're just like beyond yourself, come to me. That's what I do. I help you feel better. I help you figure things out. I teach you about nutrition. I do your lab work. We look at what is really going on. Grab the link in the show notes to book a consultation with me, because I want to talk to you and I want to help you feel better, because that's my mission. My mission is to help people simplify things, create some structure in their life, and get them feeling better, where they have more energy, better sleep, and an understanding of how to take care of their health and body that makes them feel powerful and in control. And don't forget, we go live here every Friday at 10 a.m. PST time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time. I got that one right. And then 12 p.m. Central. So we go live here, and come hang out with us here on the Inspired Choices Network. And also grab the live links on YouTube for the Inspired Choices Network and the Facebook Inspired Choices Network as well. We go live on there as well. So come hang out with us either there or in the chat room here. Next week's show is going to be 3 things you need for success. And this can be success for business, or this can be success for your health, success in anything, order, structure, discipline. We're going to have an entire show on that. So come back next week, because that is going to be an amazing one. And it's something that I teach my clients. What do you need for success? Order, structure, discipline. And we're going to do a deep dive on what that actually looks like. Let's continue on today's show and how we can make sure that we feel in control and powerful in our health journey. Okay, let's say you are on your healing journey. You go to a summer party. Okay, what's at summer parties? There's probably hot dogs with some hot dog buns and some ketchup if you're barbecuing, ketchup, mustard, whatever it is, or there's pizza. And then this is a birthday party, by the way. And then there's drinks. It could be soda, it could be martinis, it could be, depending on whose birthday it is, mac and cheese if it's a kid's birthday. And then there's the ice cream and the cakes and the cookies, like all the yummy things, right? But if you're on a journey of healing your body, that can feel incredibly overwhelming, because you go, well, what the heck am I supposed to eat? Because I don't feel good when I eat all the things, or sometimes even any. For some people that are on a journey of healing, when they eat gluten, they'll literally be sick for a day or two. Now, this doesn't happen to me like it used to. Like, I remember back in the day, you know what, when I was at like probably my worst of food sensitivities, I could go out to eat somewhere and I didn't do any kind of dairy at the time. Now I do raw dairy and I'm fine. But regular pasteurized dairy, I could go out to eat and eat cheese, like regular cheese, and instantly like my nose would start dripping. And that's how I knew that I shouldn't be having pasteurized dairy. So you go to this party and people are having all the things, right? And you're like, but I don't really want to because I know I'm going to be sick. But there's always going to be food pushers where they're like, oh, come on, have a little fun, live a little, eat a piece of cake. And at the end of the day, it's your choice. You get to choose whether or not you say yes or no. So there used to be a time in my life where I would go to literally any party and I wouldn't touch anything as far as dessert goes because it made me sick. Like I would get sick from it. So I had to go through this journey of like feeling confident and okay saying no. And one of the things that I want you to know right now and understand right now, I talked about this a little bit earlier, is that you are in control. You need to be in control. If you're not in control, you need to take control. And so if you're in a place of, I want to heal my body and I want to feel good. And if those are things that you're like, that's actually not going to help me because it's going to make me feel sick, you are allowed to say no. It's just like if someone asked you out on a date and you're like, well, I'm feeling pressured and I feel like I should go. Are you really going to go if you're feeling pressured? No, you're going to say no because you don't want to go. It's the same idea. If someone's like, hey, come on, have a little fun, eat some cake and ice cream. It's just one time. You only live once. Are you going to say yes just because someone's saying you only live once? Or are you going to say no? The same way you say no to the date because someone asked you out because you're like, no, I really don't feel like it. It's not what I want to do. It's the same idea over here where you're like, oh, I actually don't want to eat that. I don't want to go out on a date with this dessert that's going to make me sick. So you have to be okay saying no. It's like someone that's like, I want to stop drinking and they're used to socially drinking. You have to get to a place where you're like, I can say no. And when you get to a place where you take back that control and you say, no, I want to take care of my health and I want to be an example and I want to be in control, then you have to be okay saying no, thank you. But you can do it in a polite way. You can just say, and there does not have to be an explanation. Listen, you don't have to explain yourself to people. Oh, no, I can't because, it's going to make me sick. And you don't need an explanation. You can just say, no, thank you. Like, I'm really not wanting that right now. That's okay. I feel like so many times we just feel like we have to explain like this whole entire story of like why we can't do it. At the end of the day, does it even matter? Because you are the one that needs to be in control. You are the one that needs to feel powerful, but you have to take back the power. So if you're feeling like others have the power over you and the decisions that you're making with your health and what you want to do or what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing, then you are the one that needs to take back and have control over it. But there's an education piece behind that, which is what I talked about earlier, is you have to be educated behind it. And sometimes that education piece is what makes you feel powerful because now you have the knowledge that is going to help you feel more powerful. That concludes the show for today. This was so fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Next week, we're coming back, same time. We're going to be talking order, structure, and discipline. Please come back and see us. I'm Lizzie Ens on the I'm Not Fine show.
Thank you for listening to the I'm Not Fine show. Lizzie Ens returns Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, have the best week of your life by making choices that take you from feeling fine to feeling amazing.